So I've got a Gibson 1961 reissue SG here. So this is like a standard model, but a slightly more expensive one. And I've got a Tokai Japanese model here. Now, in terms of price, actually, these are a bit closer than you get with the Les Paul versus the Tokai equivalent. Off the bat, it would probably be worth saying that in terms of resale value, I feel like a Gibson is going to hold its value better anyway. And there might always be a bit of a nagging thing about, you know, which is closer to the real thing. You know, even if you did pick a Tokai and you really liked it, you may kind of have it in the back of your mind that the Gibson might be doing something more and better. In terms of body shape, this Tokai is actually fairly different in a few ways. The contour is different, the heel, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, is different. Colour wise, I think this is quite a lot more vibrant. I don't know whether this is nitro and ages over time. I need to check how old this guitar is. But the other thing about this is that this has the nibs, whereas this has binding over fretboard. And I think in terms of doing work on that as a tech or getting work done, I imagine the nibs are a bit of a pain to work with. It also means you get slightly less actual fret to play on with the real SG. This one has the neck pickup wired backwards, so I think tonally that's going to have a difference anyway. And then you've got the wraparound on the bridge here. But I want to kind of do some videos or do some playing with both and see if I have a preference playing wise. But I think probably it would be fair to say that the chances are, if you're seeing not much of a difference price wise, then regardless of playability and some of those aspects, then the Gibson has the original authentic factor to it. I can't quite see where the Tokai might come in the UK at least, because it's kind of around the same price. A couple of £100 is maybe all that's in it, and for that money, the resale value that you get on a real Gibson, to me it seems like a little bit of a safer bet, probably. That's my honest take on that anyway. I've just spent quite a few minutes there just soloing on both guitars. Definitely the real Gibson has the slimmer neck and a bit of a flatter feeling neck, so that's a big difference between them. As I say, the body shape on the Gibson SG is slightly slimmer at the end of the horn. The action on this guitar in particular is a bit higher, but I could say honestly, comparing the two, I think you could definitely be happy with the Tokai SG. I'm just not sure with the price that you'd pay for the Tokai SG at the moment in the UK why it is that you would go for that over the Gibson if you get a good example of a Gibson. And this is obviously only one Gibson that I've played. I guess for me, I really like that Tokai SG, and if I had to pick between the two guitars just as they are, then I think as a guitar, you know, without looking at the headstock, I think I slightly prefer the Tokai. So I think in conclusion, I feel like the Tokai definitely holds its weight. This I think is a 2002 Gibson SG 1961 reissue, has the slim taper neck, but the one question mark for me is when the price of the Tokai SG in the UK at the moment is £1,400 versus a new Gibson which is about £1,600 for the equivalent 1961 reissue model today. I'm not sure what the reason or the argument might be for saying go with the Tokai, because yes, I think it easily stacks up really well with a good Gibson guitar. I'm not sure that the resale value is there, and if you're looking for an SG at that price, then I feel like it would make just as much sense to go for the SG, you know, risk potentially going through a couple of Gibson SGs that maybe aren't so good, and you maybe send some back and do all of that kind of stuff. But chances are, I feel like you're going to be able to find a good, right? I'm sure there must be a whole bunch of good Gibson SGs out there, surely. So that's the one little thing for me. The headstock on the Tokai is kind of smaller as well, so maybe that might help to have less of a dive kind of thing going on than some SGs might. The neck on the Tokai is a bit fuller as well, and the contours here, so the horns don't get as thin as on the actual SG, and some subtle kind of differences in that way. I feel like a Tokai SG used is going to make a load of sense. You get an incredible guitar. I think you can get them for about £600 or £700 versus the Gibsons, which hold their value quite a lot better. And my friend Ross said, you know, you'd be buying the Gibson and you wouldn't have a guitar that would go down in price like a fart in an elevator. So yeah, that's the only little thing for me. As a guitar to play, I really like that Tokai SG, but I'm not sure that I could advise you to go and buy one over a Gibson, because economically I feel like the Gibson is the safer bet, even though as an instrument I feel like the chances are that the Tokais, in my experience, are incredibly well built, and the online myth, or maybe it's even fact, or that is the majority of people's experience, I don't know, the Gibson stuff tends to be a little bit more hit and miss. But let me know your experience. I'd have no issues buying that Tokai or playing that Tokai going forward, and I don't feel like I'd be missing anything after playing a real Gibson SG, but I can't say I'd advise going and grabbing one for new when you could get a Gibson for the same price-ish. Is that logical? 6 thumbs up.